Hey guys, what's up? This is ScherBR talking. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we'll be discussing the Romancing Festival Springtime SP again, because most of the styles got buffed and the differences between the global and Japanese version of them are pretty high. Some of the characters are kinda totally new, like Mei-Ling here is awesome. I can see the Sif is also pretty good. While Cordelia was not buffed, Hector received a controversial buff. Well, to start talking about this, we have to go to the SaGa Wiki Discord. As you can see, Hydra43 posted the updated information about the characters when we received a data download. And there's 3 different styles that got an update. Yeah, like I said, save for Cordelia. Mei-Ling is a totally new character now. Rider43 also included yellow informations where it changed, and it's easy to understand why looking on this image here. We'll go here. Also, thanks so much Rider43 by giving this information. This here you can understand a little better. Sif has an increase in her dexterity based on her global version. This is not that she needed that much because, as you can see, her dexterity was pretty fine already. She's one of the X-wielder characters with the highest dexterity. I believe this is good, so she will not fail her attacks, and well, as long as the game keeps updating content, we will need more dexterity. Okay, let's get back to the image here. This is a small difference. And now from her passive, now I have Weakness Advantage 3 instead of Hardy Wallop. Hardy Wallop increases 15% on damage, and Weakness Advantage also increases 15, but the difference is that Hardy Wallop only works when you are on full HP, and Weakness Advantage will work all the time when you are hitting for weaknesses. And that's interesting because now we have 3 different possible element damage with our Sif, but mostly 2. Well, let's discuss this right now. Just to compare, let's get back here to the original Sif. As you can see, Hardy Wallop was this one here. It's called different sometimes, but it's the same thing, only on full HP. And back to Sif, well, the difference now is that the first skill called Whale is now an attack with 2 elements plus a buff. As you can see, Whale has a D power now instead of C. We also have to check this here now, Roma SaGa. The damage was 16 modifier C power. I believe that they debuffed this to like 13 modifier or something like that, a 20% downgrade, but it won't affect it that much. It's a row attack, so it will be useful in some stages where you have enemies in a row position. And not only that, but the buff is the most important thing. It says here, increases STR for all surviving allies for a small effect. They usually say all surviving allies because you cannot buff someone that is dead. But it doesn't really mean that anything else besides this. Okay, and now what I want to do is show you something very important. On our SaGa, we can also check the skills, and these are all the skills in the Japanese version right now that can buff STR. I do believe that what we'll be getting with Sif is a 15 up to 25% increase in STR. That's pretty good. We have to compare this to the Matriarch. We have it here, 30% she increases. That's pretty awesome. She does not attack. STR, Endurance, Agility, and Intelligence. That is pretty cool for debuffs strategies, also evade strategies, but also to increase damage. But she has a different output here. It's 30% on all times, and she does not offer damage. So what I see is that it's probably between 15 and 25 on max. 25 on max is pretty high. I must say that because, you know, there are Fairy and also Brownie characters that have this attack called Double Trick, and they buff themselves, and if you keep using this, the damage increase is awesome. I must also compare this to UDF Gustav. Well, Gustav is very powerful because the buff is even higher. But we are seeing Gustav and Fairy being single target buffers. Sif is a multi-target buffer. She will buff the whole squad. If it's 25% on max, we are talking about a very high following. There's only one thing that I don't know if it's stack or not, because it's called Whale here. I don't know if the buff has a name. I don't know. I don't have information inside of the game. So I believe it will stack, but I can be wrong. And Slash plus blunt damage means that she will also be hitting for blunt weaknesses with her weaknesses advantage tree. She also has access to this slash plus heat attack that comes from her Spiral Corridor variant. That is not easy to get if you are not lucky. I got her like past month, this version here. Besides that, you can also kind of use this attack here called Cut Timber. Here we call it another thing, like Oki Cut. Yeah, Cut Timber is his attack here. It's pretty good. It deals increased damage to plant, but if I am you, I will be using this attack for like forever. As you can see, she can ignore all the other attacks and just stick to the first one. And even though it's just a raw attack and it may not hit more than one enemy all the time, I still believe that it's like one of the best ideas to use this. Because she has a pretty high agility on 86%, it means that if you are using her on a Dragoon Strike formation, she will be able to buff characters like Acelus, like Mei-Ling, like even Galahad. I don't know if it will work to use slashers alongside Galahad. They are not elemental attackers, but there are stages that will work. And she will buff very fast. You have to get her to level 50. It's a huge investment, but I do believe that it's worth. Now for the second attack, we can check Nauroma SaGa. It's easier. It's an S power attack, 36 modifier. It deals increased damage against Bone. It's useful against them. It carries an intelligence debuff, and it debuffs up to 20% of the intelligence of your targets. She does not have that much intelligence to begin with, so she may fail this debuff. I don't think this skill is something that you should be using too much often. But Vacuum Break is pretty strong. I don't know, if you will have a strategy that you clear a wave with other characters and she only needs to attack twice, you can use Vacuum Break to open a wave and then use the first skill here that's called, let's see, Whale. Yeah, start with Vacuum Break and then you skip a turn and then you use Whale. It's a pretty nice strategy that will fit in some strategies. I also believe that the buff value increases her utility for a long time. You can even use her alongside the Matriarch, because it will just help you reach the cap faster. The cap is 150% increase to STR, and it's, well, very easy to reach if you are using both characters together. While Sif is not a perfect character, I must say that she fails to have a very powerful single target attack. She also has some problems with cycling. She does not have a full AoE attack. I still believe that she's a 9.0 out of 10, but a very powerful character that can be added to buff strategies. She can also work for farming, but, well, it's a little more restricted because of how she acts between her cycles. Now, to finish talking about Sif, I just want to give a look on her future style to see if they clash, if it brings something new, and it kind of does. The second attack is kind of the same, but lower BP cost, you know, very high power with 7 BP. The first one has a chance to insta-kill targets and it can be used 3 times in a row, but she fails to have very high intelligence. She may fail sometimes, she may need extra help. And the last skill is a triple S damage, 63 modifier, fast, so it should be used on the second turn. She does have lower multipliers for passives, it's 25, but she gets 1 more BP on the start of a battle, and she has a chance of healing. So, all of these skills are pretty nice on our current version of Sif, but this one will have more STR, a little more. It's not that much more, but she deals a little more damage because of STR, while our character is a better buffer and a better utility. And now we go to Hector, and Hector is not that different, but what they did here is actually not that good. Let's talk about his increase in will. We have 60% here, and on this picture here he has 53, so a 7% increase in will. But guys, this does not make him a good tanker because he does not have all the good things to, well, decrease damage like Julian has. He has 79% endurance and he needs to be on the front lines now. They made some changes to him that I don't really like. Well, as you can see in the past, his passives were more about damage with weakness concentration, means 15% increase in damage when you are hitting a weak target, and also this one here that increases 15% of his damage at all times, with the added effect of debuffing the endurance of all enemies on the start of a new wave. That was 10%. So now it's not 10% anymore, it's more, it's 15, as you can see here. It's a very large effect for Endurance Decay 4. It's easy to understand because actually the other one is called Endurance Decay 3. So it goes from 10% to 15. It's a pretty high and powerful debuff for Endurance, but it's not that widely useful, just like Will. We have Stun Unit, and Stun Unit has a 5% debuff to Will, and that is usually more important than 15% debuff to Endurance. But we cannot ignore that this is not a bad debuff at all, because it will increase your physical damage with your setup. If you are using the Dragoon Strike formation, you can even get this Hector to the back row if you don't want to use him for damage, and increase the damage of your other 4 slash damage dealers, because, well, it's more for slash. You can still use Dragoon Strike for spear, and yeah, it can still work if you are not using him for damage. But he does have a very high agility with 75%, so it's better if you don't increase his level to max or just try to decrease his agility. And now the last thing is the weakness concentration passive was changed, and now we have this called Spirited Song that will give him STR. It's a large effect, so I believe it's probably like 20% or 15% increase in STR for every time that he gets attacked. But, you know, like I said, he doesn't have anything to reduce incoming damage. You are having a very high risk of getting killed by some very strong attacks, or you need someone to increase the damage reduction, like Narol's daughter that has a guard up buff. That will increase his survival chances, but it's still too much to risk. And I believe that's only useful in the Tiger Shark formation. Or maybe the Dragoon Strike, well, but he would not be attacked all the time. I don't know. It's just a little confusing. I prefer to have a character that's fully developed to a single role than one that tries to do too much and doesn't really work all the time. Now, with only 15% increase in damage, using him for farming will only be good if he's not attacking. I believe all the other attackers will do more damage than him. And that is a problem. He still has a split attack that hits for column with C power that's pretty strong, even with the decreased damage. And triple slash, also very nice if you want to use it 3 times in a row. With Vandalize being less useful now, I believe. He's not more for just burst damage. He's better for helping people finish the waves. So I still not that bad of a character, but in my opinion it's an 8.0 out of 10. Someone that could be way better, but is now just, well, too much stuff on the same time. With Hector now we have to enter Mei-Ling. And Mei-Ling, man, Mei-Ling, we have to talk about Mei-Ling. It's worth remembering that Mei-Ling is not limited. She will be added to the Platinum Summon. Now the last character is Mei-Ling, at least the last one that was buffed. So what did they change here? They increased her dexterity, her love, and decreased her STR. Now her dexterity is on 65, and she had a very poor dexterity, actually, only 60, because she is a mage, even though she uses guns. And also the love was 43, and now it is 45. Barely any changes here. So the increase in dexterity will only affect her gun skills. Well, let's talk about her passives. She has Sun Amplification 2, so Sun attacks damage increases. Medium effect, it's 10% increase to Sun damage. Well, all of her spells are based on Sun, and that's 10% when she's hitting for Sun. But she also has some other elements, so it will not increase the other elements like Slash and Blunt. The second one is Gnawing Confusion. When landing an attack, it will inflict confusion on a target and a medium chance. This is the same thing as Fuse. We have 25% chances of confusing targets. That can be increased with her intelligence. That's already pretty high. She does not have double hit like Fuse to increase it to even higher levels, but it's still pretty nice with a character that has intelligence with 2 arrows and 82%. Also, her agility is pretty high to try to inflict this before being attacked. The last is Tension Up 4. This is like fired up 4, this 15% increase on damage at all times. So just to compare, the first and second passives were not that good. Stealth, well, I'm happy that they removed this. And Confuse one random enemy with small chance, only 10%. I'm also very happy that they removed this. Now for skills, she starts with Healing Light. This is the same healing as Sophia. And it's good because it only uses 3 BP, you can use it all times. It does not compare to White Rose, but it's okay. The second one is Saber Ray. This is the same spell that Blue and Princess White Rose can use, the second Princess White Rose. And it's pretty nice because it was buffed for global. It's now Sun plus slash damage. An 8 or 6 BP, 8 power. Well, very, very nice to have a character that can open with a different element as well. And also you can use this all time, because you can just use the last skill on 13 and just leave her SaGa on 6, so that she will only use this. So a machine that will produce sun and slash damage. And the last skill is just crazy, overpowered crazy. Solar Shot is a 13 VP that can be reduced to 10. Triple S power. Triple S power. I don't know the modifier, but it should be very good. Single target spell. All of her attacks are spells. You do not need dexterity into any of her original skills. We need to inherit something from her A style. It is Sun and Blunt. So dual element, 10 BP, triple S power, and also grants a buff. This buff is called UniverSe, and it will increase the damage dealt to enemies when you are performing sun attacks. It's an indirect attack and will also grant a buff to all surviving allies called UniverSe. It will increase the damage dealt to all enemies with sun attacks. I believe the increase is 10%. I don't know, there's no information about the increase. It's also unheard in Japan. This is something exclusive to this version of Mei-Ling. They will probably add this later, but it's crazy. She has very high agility, not the best, but pretty high. She can open, and then she can increase the sun damage of your squad, and then follow up with ScherBR every 2 turns. And after you use Solar Shot, you can just use one normal attack, then ScherBR, normal attack, then ScherBR. And with Hidden Light on 3 BP, if you need a healing, she will just heal instead of using ScherBR, increasing the utility in setups. Man, it's crazy because she's heal, she is support, she has 3 different elemental attacks, she has a buff, and she has also a status inflictor. She can inflict confusion. Man, I don't know what she's lacking. I really don't know. I believe this is just like so close to the value we had with Blue and Rouge that I really don't know what to say. I believe that she only needed a little more status here and there, but it's already good, man. I don't have nothing wrong to say about Mei-Ling. And now from her inheritance, we have her A style. There's precision shooting. I don't think this is good enough. It's only the power, but it's 2 BP. Then we have Solar Wind, and this is pretty cool because it's all enemies and it's heat and sun. So she has even more elemental coverage now. And this attack here is 12 modifier, not that bad. The only thing here is that she will not be able to use this 3 times in a row. You have to, well, clear the first wave, maybe with Barthélemy, because Barthélemy is pretty strong for first wave damage, and then you can use 3 characters for heat now, pretty easily as well. And Strafing is just Stun Shot, and Stun Shot is a gun skill, so it will rely on her dexterity, but it has a stun chance. This stun chance is pretty good. It will not stun floating enemies. It's medium chance, and she will probably have very high chance to stun. It will be the highest chance for a gunner. And, well, you can use this on turn 1 and on turn 3. I don't think this is a pretty reliable thing if you are facing a huge number of enemies, but it is good for Robin Cup. It will be good for Dojo. Not that I think that stun is good for those scenarios, but if it works, it works. Okay, so this was Mei-Ling, and I really like this character here. I am very close to giving her a 10, because she's a healer with damage output. I believe that she's a 10. I will revisit this character later to ensure that she's just so good as I'm talking. Triple S damage, 10 TP, double element, and a buff. All on the same time. Can't get any better than this. So Mei-Ling for me is a 10. And for last, let's talk about Cordelia again. Teacher Cordelia, as it's known in the community, is a very powerful attacker. And the first skill is Ontology, and this one is pretty good because you can heal and attack on the same time. The recovering power is 15, is pretty good. It's higher than healing light. And the power 11 modifier. 5 BP can be reduced to 4, so pretty good as well. And the second skill is Spear Strike. This one is pretty special. It can attack between 2 to 4 times, so it resembles Silver and also Gray, and future Ferdinand as well. Between 2 to 4 times may seem way too much RNG. It is indeed, but even if she performs only 2 attacks, you are not missing too much, because it's only 7 BP. She will be doing 2 attacks that will combine the skill power and the weapon power. Let's say that your weapon power is 30, and then your skill power is 9. It means 39, and then she will just use 39 2 times. That is if she attacks only 2, but if she attacks 4 times, that would be like 160. But remember, you can also increase the power. It's not only 9, it increases a little when you reach level 99. So if she performs 4 attacks, it will be pretty high. If she performs 2 attacks, it will be maybe some 8 attacks with 6 BP, but then she has the chance to make it even better. She's already very strong by herself. Okay, the last skill is called Big Wheels. This one is an A power 29 modifier, full AoE attack, indirect attack as well. It is pretty strong. We have this with Fairy, and I believe that it's useful now that we can open with fast attackers on the first wave and then use this on the second one. It should be very strong. The only problem is that she cannot attack with any other skill after this, because it's just too costly. And for passives, she has Vigorous, that increases her BP by 1 point with 40% chances with every new attack. Fired up 4, so 15% increase at all times. And this other one, call it Attribute Strength 3, that increases her STR every time that she attacks. 20% buff to her STR with every new attack. That allows her to reach the max potential of a buff, like 150%, and also allows her to not rely on a buffer, like Narwhal's Daughter or the Matriarch, or even Sif. She does not need them to get stronger, but with them she gets stronger faster. It's a pretty nice following. And for last, I just want to say something about her cyclings. She will open with Spear Strike, and then she will just keep using Anthology, because 7 plus 7 means 14. She will not be able to use this twice in a row unless you finish the first wave with someone else, or the second wave, and then she can use this on the third wave. At least she's good for lazy farming. She heals herself, she will just keep dealing damage and healing. She will hardly die depending on the content. And now for inheritance, we can get Pom Pom Tree from her Christmas tile to get a full AoE attack, so that she opens with the second skill, the Spear Strike, and then she keep using Pom Pom Tree for AoE damage. It's usually better than using Anthology. You can also inherit a triple S damage skill from her S style, but not right now because it needs to be upgraded. This skill here from her Valentine variant will get updated to triple S damage, 60 modifier, 10 BP, pretty strong. You can open with this, or you can just get this another one that is from her tower version, 9 BP instead of 10, and 56 modifier, triple S damage as well. Pretty strong. It will take some time for us to get these updates, but once we get, Cordelia becomes even better. I believe that this version here needs a 9.5 out of 10. Yes, this is like the first one from now. She's pretty good for what she proposes to do. She gets stronger within time. She can still be used for farming, but I believe that she's better if you have the Christmas one. But still good enough for, you know, lazy farming, where you don't need to be so fast. At least if you win, it's okay. And with this, we get back to the image here, and I believe that this banner is worth summoning for. This comes with a surprise, but it's still only worth for those that have way too many gems. If you only have 40k or something, I don't think you should summon here, because I strongly believe that Acelus is closer. Acelus and Rock Bouquet banner offers a lot of utility as well, and they should be released on the part 3 of this event. The stream from Taiwan already said that global exclusive Emilia will be released on the next week, so I believe that she may come with Mirza, a banner that doesn't offer too much. So if you can skip the next banner, you can get this one and summon for. Hector does not offer too much as I wanted, but the other 3 characters are pretty good on their own. So if you don't have many gems, I suggest you to wait till you see the next banners before you summon. They will all be released one after another, but there will be some time where you can see all 3 of them together, so you can wait. That should be the best decision to make and decide, well, I need more slash, I need more this or that, and just summon for the specific character that will help you the most. So this is it, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe if you haven't. If you want to support this little channel, you can use the links here in the description of the video. We see each other on the next one. Bye.